Last week it was Europe that had all the problems with snow and airport closures. This week it was the East Coast turn, thanks to that weekend blizzard. Washington attorney Lee Negroni is a frequent visitor to Paris, and lucky you, Lee, you missed the airport closure on your last visit.
I sure did. When I was in Paris in November, it was perfect. 65 degrees, leaves changing, just perfect.
Now, you've been to Paris numerous times in the last several decades. Do you have a favorite time of year to visit?
Well, I like to go when there are fewer tourists, and there's never no tourists. Paris is probably the most visited city in the world, but I like to go either in March or October. Those are good times before summertime.
Hey, is Paris especially hospitable to, shall we say, women of a certain age?
I think so. I do, and I've been going to France, Pat, for, 30 years, and, maybe one visit a year or every 2 years. And I have found it much more friendlier to me now that I'm sort of 50-something than when I was in my 20s. And part of that is I think the culture actually respects middle-aged and older people. And the other part is that, I now behave, dress, and speak like an adult and not like, a 20-something backpacker who, doesn't maybe get as much respect as a middle-aged person will get on metro, in stores, in the theater, and so forth. So I actually find it a very comfortable place, to be my age in France. I think the French are very respectful of a person who, presents themselves with a certain amount of dignity. Then again, that means, please don't wear shorts on the streets of Paris, tracksuits, sneakers. You won't, get a welcome reception to that. That is not the French way. It's not the Parisian way in any event.
When you visit a city so often, Lee, do you run out of things to do, new things to try?
In some cities, yes, but never in Paris. I have never run out of things to do. It's a city that is emerging every day. There are new museums. I mean, a year or two ago, the new Branly Museum opened its sort of Asiatic art of Australia and some of the Pacific Islands. It's a brilliant new museum. And then other museums are constantly being reinvented. I was there in November, as you know, and I have avoided the Louvre for many years because I think it's just inhospitable. But I did go this year, and I found the place transformed. They've put benches in every gallery. Those cards that they have that explain what's in the galleries, the boxes have been empty for years, but they're all of a sudden refilled with German and Spanish and English placards explaining what's going on in that gallery. Even the signage, this way to the toilet, this way to the exit, everything's improved about the Louvre. So even if you've seen it before, I would say, give places another chance. And then I discover places that I hadn't seen before. I ate several lunches last month at the Monoprix. It's a department store, so something like Target. Delicious food, unbelievable value, and you could sit down and rest your feet from a bit of shopping as well. So, a lot of people go to Paris to eat, but I bet a lot of them don't eat in the Monoprix department store. So I always find something new.
I want to hear your shopping secrets, because I have one I'll share with you after you tell me yours. But what are your shopping secrets you can tell us about?
Well, the euro against the dollar has been rather expensive for a long time. Mm-hmm. So I will admit that I don't do a lot of shopping. But one shopping secret, if you're willing to call it shopping, I'm bolder now than I used to be. When I went to Paris 20 years ago, like a lot of people, I was a little intimidated by the stores. They had all this beautiful merchandise, and they were more like temples than stores. So I didn't go in. I just window shopped. Now I'm more confident. Now I go in. Whether I buy anything or not, I'll have a conversation with the people there. I'll admire the merchandise, which encourages them to show it to me. And again, you might not call that shopping because most of the time I walk out without actually buying anything. But I've had a wonderful experience, and I see what's new in the stores. So I love that. I discovered by mistake, because I took Metro in the wrong direction, a little area that has crammed with wholesale stores. And each store had a particular type of goods, only belts or only leather jackets or only jean leggings and things like that. And I wandered through all the ones that were open to the public, and that was very fun. And, of course, there's the flea markets, every weekend, in every neighborhood, and I love them.
Those are great ideas. The one thing that I stumbled across, and it was merely because we had rented an apartment in the 16th neighborhood, the 16th district, and that is a district that sells secondhand designer stuff, and I stumbled across a Chanel purse that had been previously owned, and I got that. I could never afford a Chanel purse in real life. I mean, those things cost $1,500, but I got a bargain, and I use it to this day.
You're absolutely right. There are depot ventes, they're called. And they're all over the city. And if you have the time or the inclination to look it up in advance, you can find listings of them. You know, there's some of the smart and savvy shoppers have put guides to the depot vente online.
Yep, I want to go back, Lee. When's your next trip?
Well, I was there in November, so it will probably be next year, 2011. You know, maybe in the fall I'll go back. You know, I just won't stop going back. I've been a Francophile since my first visit there as a college student.
I totally understand. Thank you for talking City of Lights with us, and Happy New Year, Lee.
And Happy New Year, and I hope you get back too.
I do too. Thanks.